Sicily, land of ancient roots. Sicily, by virtue of its central position in the Mediterranean Sea, has been a crossroads of different cultures, peoples and traditions ever since antiquity. Historical documents and recipes date back to the 4th century BC, when Sicily was at the heart of Greater Greece. And even the philosopher Plato wrote about the Sicilian dessert he had tasted in Syracuse. In the course of time, there developed two parallel styles of cooking, one for the noble and wealthy classes and one for the lower classes. The first was characterized by elaborate preparations with fish, meats and fruit, whereas the latter was the common food consisting of focaccia, dried figs, olives and salted fish. In Roman times, a few centuries later, when wheat had been introduced from Egypt, Sicily became the principal supplier to Rome. Bread soon substituted the focaccia. Later, the island commanded the dominion of the Arab world, and this period was particularly enriching from a gastronomic point of view. During this time, the Arabs introduced almonds, pistachios, and raisins. Rice was also brought along with asparagus, artichokes, apricots, and peaches. Ever since then, Sicilian cuisine became elevated to an art form, so rich as to be unique in all of Italy. In particular, the dry pasta and the dessert were so colorful and artfully decorated as to be unequaled anywhere in the world. In present times, this legacy is still apparent in the daily diet of Sicilians, where dishes such as couscous are identifiable with the Arab culture. From the Middle Ages onward, the use of meat and the practice of cooking on a spit became more common. After the discovery of America, when Sicily was under Spanish rule, new additions included cocoa, sweet peppers, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, squash, and turkey. The rich meals of the rich became a showplace where the meals were created according to precise principles designed to delight and awe the guests. The products. In the same time, it became commonplace even in the lower classes to eat pasta asciutta, pasta not served in broth but dry with some sort of condiment, made with durum wheat. Over the course of time, fervid island creativeness built many dishes around the macaroni, with sauces of all kinds, with new and contrasting flavors, with fish or meat, with vegetables or cheese. Another important element in the food industry of this island was bread and the art of bread making, usually using tender wheat flour but also with durum wheat. There are still several bread festivals celebrated in the villages today, where bread is formed into spectacular creations in the shape of lilies or angels, like a braid or a garland, in flower or animal shapes. The practice of eating meat in the past was always limited by the extreme heat and the lack of variety of animals because of the scarcity of pasture land. Only pork was widely used. Rather than use pork fat for seasoning and frying, olive oil was preferred. Olive trees grow everywhere on the island and have been cultivated here for centuries. Fish, on the other hand, is most common in the Sicilian diet and can be found very fresh in all the coastal areas. In the province of Trapani, tuna and bottarga, tuna raw, are the traditional fare, coming from the nearby island of Favignana. In all of Sicily, people eat swordfish in all of its local variations, alla ghiotta, alla stimparata, with salmoriglio, sauce for grilling. Pasta, meats and fish are always accompanied with a variety of vegetables grown even in the winter months, thanks to the mild climate. The many offerings include artichokes, tomatoes, zucchini, broccoli, eggplant and sweet peppers. The vegetable caponata, typical Mediterranean dish, is an almost daily item on Sicilian tables. As for the wines, it must be said that, for a very long time, winemaking methods in Sicily has remained anchored in the past and tied to the old concept of wine. But in the last decade, things have changed very rapidly for the better. Now Sicily offers some great wines, especially reds, from both the indigenous grape Nero d'Avola, but also for international grapes such as Merlot and Cabernet. And last but not least, we must mention the great tradition of making marsala in the province of Trapani and the opulent city of Pantelleria. Finally, Sicily has reached a level of excellence worthy of note in the production of olive oil. The olive tree has always been a sacred plant in the whole of southern Italy. It was so for the Greeks, who colonized the island in ancient times, and it is so today, considering the importance of olive oil in the Mediterranean food culture.